Hey, good day, America. Good day, and welcome to the Truth to Freedom podcast. I'm James Parker, one half of the team here, and the other half, my dear brother, Mr. Quentin Williams. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How you doing?
Hey, man, we're doing good. How was your Christmas holiday?
It was good. Not too busy. We didn't get overstimulated, so
It's coming, sir, because you have a newborn, well, not newborn now, but she'll be getting to those ages where she's looking for stuff under the tree.
she got a lot yesterday. But like you said, she's still young, so she doesn't understand it. But she's got a lot of stuff.
Man, I tell you so. America, we apologize. We've been out of pocket for a little bit because either I was out of schedule, and then when I finally got in schedule, uh, my brother Quentin was out of schedule. So we was trying to find a schedule with the holidays and stuff going on, and just life in general. We weren't able to cohesive our schedules together, but we found some time here after the holidays, which is good because we're calling this our little end of the year review for 2024 and just kind of touch on some stuff that's been going on and just how we see going into 2025. Um, because we get ready to go into a whole we're going into a whole nother chapter. All right. I hope people are prepared. I hope people are open-minded, and I hope people just don't run with the pack because personally, and then I'll let Quentin give his insight. Personally, I think we're in for some good stuff, and we're in for some mess. I think it's going to be a kind of a mixture. Um, I know a lot of people saying, that since Clinton's in office and all of a sudden now everybody needs to, empty their bank accounts and run for the hills and all this other stuff. I don't think it's gonna go. I don't think it's gonna go south like well, I ain't gonna say everybody. Like a lot of people want to say. I think that some of the stuff that he has planned needs to happen. I think some stuff needs to be exposed. I think some stuff needs to be revamped. But like both parties, they always come with their own shenanigans. So it's going to be some shenanigans, but I think it's going to be some good stuff too. Because the one thing that I think needs to happen, which we've talked about, and I hope they do it the right way. Probably won't, but going through the different programs that we have in place, I don't think they I don't think they should be looking to just eliminate them, but I do think they need to go through and see how they can be more efficient. I don't think we I don't think the government does a good job of going through their programs and as we move forward making them more efficient to fit the day and time. I mean, they'll create a program and they just let that program run on autopilot. And then as we grow and move in different situations, that program, when it was made, say 7 years ago, to fit what was going on 7 years ago, we've now gone through COVID and all that stuff. So needs have changed, priorities have changed, circumstances have changed. But that program is still stuck 7 years ago. And the people that they keep putting in place, they don't make no efforts to change nothing. And so now the program becomes inefficient. It doesn't help because it's still basing everything off of 7 years ago rather than adapting to the situation as of now. So I would hope that when they go through all these government programs, just don't eliminate them. See if we can go in and make them more efficient to fit this day and time moving forward. I do believe that's one thing that do need to happen. But who knows? That's just my thought. What about you, Quentin? What you say?
I think it would be, and I think most people would agree that if they did what they said they were going to do, then it would be good. But I do think that a lot of the stuff they just going to try to close. They'll probably get a lot of pushback for it, which they should,
Mhm.
because they shouldn't just close them like you said. They should revamp them, make them more modern, fit the needs of of the country right now. But Elon, I don't particularly like him. I don't trust him. He's all about just making money. So he, um, he's been quoted saying, he said, the plans and policies that Trump wants to implement, short term they'll be bad. People got to buckle down. It's gonna get a little add financial burden, but in the long run it'll be great.
Mhm.
I mean, me personally, that's not a trade off that I would make, for people. Because there's as much as they try to say we can't, this is a system we built from scratch, and we can really do whatever way we want to do it. There is no right or wrong or natural or unnatural. It's just that these people don't want to change their minds.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, Elon Musk, whatever his name is, he's an interesting character. And I tell you, we were just talking about before we came on the air, the the issue that was going on with the shutdown. That it was just like it was hours away from shutting down the government. And well, prior to that, they had that package that was going to go through. But I found it, I was really mystified. Like, how in the world Trump and Musk got any say so about a policy that's being presented now when they're not even in office, and they're saying that they interjected their thoughts and all this other stuff that the Republicans ended up shooting all this down. Um, I I'm just confused. How do they have that kind of power, Quentin? How?
They shouldn't, and they did get a lot of pushback though when they tried to interject, as they should, because we have rules and regulations you're supposed to follow.
Mhm.
So I don't know. They shouldn't have it. But it's not a good sign. It's like they're already kind of jumpy before they get in there, and it just shows the arrogance, the level of like entitlement that they have. Like I know what's best, so I'm gonna do these things.
Well,
Definitely not Elon Musk.
yeah.
He's
Wait,
closed.
he what now?
I mean, he's closed a few departments in his companies just to save some money. So I don't trust him to do anything.
Well, this battle they had over this bill, it goes to show you because we was talking about before. See, they everything that you're not aware of is what ends up getting put in some of these bills that they pass. And then when they get
Yeah.
passed and all of a sudden they start implementing stuff, you're talking about where did this come from? Where did that come from? So they wouldn't pass that bill because they was trying to get um what does Trump want? He wants to eliminate the debt ceiling. He
Oh yeah.
he wants to eliminate it. He wanted that in that bill and something else, but I know that was one of the things that he wanted them to vote on. He wants to eliminate the debt bill or the debt ceiling, so he just have kind of like a unlimited account that he can just run amok on, I guess. But again, like you said, they gave him pushback, and so that's what knocked all that out the wood. But this is just a point that we brought up before. Um, when they pass these bills, they need to be more transparent. They need to let these people know, look, if this is the bill on public housing, okay, let that bill be about the public housing, and that's it. Send it up, send it through, and vote on it. Don't have this bill saying that it's Bill HR 88 for public housing and funding. And then as you read down, now it has all this other stuff about stuff for Nevada and some for Wyoming and all this other little stuff people try to sneak in to get approved that we have no idea what's going on because the Congress people are the ones voting on this stuff and they vote all this stuff in. Then you find out later, how did that get into play? How did this get into play? Because they sneak these things in and through these bills, especially if it's something that's really like been a big item or something like healthcare. That's a big item, and people
Yeah.
want their healthcare. So now what I do, we're trying to get as much as we can in this healthcare bill because if this passes, then all this other stuff will pass that nobody knows about when all they was told that this bill was about healthcare. You know what I'm saying, Quentin?
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. What they do is they'll open the door for something, and once they open that door, say like they've done this before. Um, um, Big tech. So big right now, big tech, and they're trying to they're trying to get restrictions on AI. So where like they don't want any restrictions on them. they want AI to use AI whichever way they want to, use it, which is it's bad. It's not. I mean, this stuff turns out to be unethical, immoral, like everything. It hurts people. So they'll do that. They'll sneak something in, and then open the door for this grand scheme thing they got going on.
Yeah.
But like Trump, him trying to get rid of the debt ceiling, like what does that do? So he can run the deficit, of the country way up. How do you even sell that? That's a good idea.
He thinks it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's more to it. I mean, he's probably got stuff already in place that he needs that limitation taken off to where he can just, like I said, just run amok and do whatever he wants to do. Um, he's already. Oh, speaking of that, he's already have met. I'm sorry, I should have got the article, but y'all can look this up. He's already met. He met at the Bitcoin conference. They have that Bitcoin. He was there and he met with a lot of top people, uh, pretty much letting them know that one, he's behind uh this new currency, the Bitcoin and all the other stuff that's going on, the Bitcoin mining and all that. He's on board. He matter of fact, he wants to control that. Not and
Yeah,
eliminating that debt ceiling might have something to do with it. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But people pay attention to Bitcoin and all them other coins, uh, crypto. I'm trying to think of the word for the whole thing. Crypto, currency. There's something big going on because, like I said, he was at the last conference they just had, and he met with a lot of key people that are behind Bitcoin. That's been doing a lot of the Bitcoin mining and the implications of the Bitcoin servers and all this stuff that has to deal with pushing uh, that cryptocurrency. And I didn't realize it. So I started reading some other articles, man, especially overseas and European crypto is big. Again, we're always behind the power curve here in America because everybody be trying to get there. But over in other countries, uh, they're pushing this. I mean, they're like their system is adopting this cryptocurrency, and a lot of them are doing business with cryptocurrency. And I think here, when it first came out, when Bitcoin was first way back in the day, when it was like $2, um, everybody thought it was a joke. Everybody was like, ain't nobody. And at the time, people were the younger generation anyway was using Bitcoin in certain applications that you could buy stuff. You can send it in and have it transferred over to whatever. Long story short, what happens? Bitcoin blows up, made a lot of people rich, uh, and now here we are. I think we're in the second phase of whatever it's going to be is going to be. But pay attention to whatever laws are being passed or however direction, because I think a lot of it's going to have to do with cryptocurrency, and Trump is in the middle of all this. So watch how he legislates and watch how he does stuff. You might want to get into the cryptocurrency market and get you a piece of the pie because I got a feeling he's going to help them uh, push their agenda wherever they want to where we're going to get to the point where they want that to be the currency anyway. They want to do away with the dollars, paper. They want to do away with paper money anyway. And I think if the government can regulate this and get into it, it's going to be big. So I don't know what you know about crypto.
uh, Dogecoin was projected to blow up a few years ago, and people were investing in it. It didn't go anywhere, but Elon accepts it for Tesla purchase for his companies. So I can see Trump going to Bitcoin that whole little summit and trying to help Elon out. I guarantee you, Elon is behind that.
Hmm.
But he's not, you know, he's a small government kind of guy. He don't want government to regulate it. He wants to be able to control it himself. So they'll try to get some laws passed and some policies to where he'll own it and do whatever he wants to with it. Nobody be able to tell him, what he can and can't do.
Well, I mean that goes back to what we were saying before. When you talk about the market. the so-called free market. Um, it's not. It's not. I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. It's not. It's not a free market, and it's not. It doesn't self-correct itself. I mean, they use those words. It self-corrects itself. It does this. It does that. But the market moves and fluctuates with how people buy and sell. And some of these people that got like these huge amount of money to tap into can literally go in and start buying stuff, and the market goes right with it. Um, and then when it gets to a certain point, they sell it and make a killing. And unfortunately, the small investor one gets caught up in the mess because if he doesn't have enough money to buy what these people are buying, and then got to turn around and sell it. So by the time you catch up to what they're doing, they've already done bought and done sold, and then you're sitting here at a loss because you done went in and bought all this stock, and then they done sold off the stock, and you didn't get out in time, and so now you have to take the loss, or you have to hold on to it, hoping that it'll come back up. Which, in the big scheme of things, that's how the stock market does. It goes up, come down, goes up, come down. We're now supposedly in a bull run, which means it's supposed to we're supposed to see some traction, I guess, over the next year or so of stocks in general going up, gaining some interest before they start floundering. So we're supposed to be in a 4 year cycle, and just so happens, guess who's taking over at the beginning of this 4 year cycle? Uh, Mr. Trump. So um, a lot of people need to be watching the finances. They need to be watching their 401ks. They need to be watching their bank account. They need to be watching finances in general because it's going to affect a lot of things, especially your retirement accounts and stuff. You need to be paying attention because depending on what you have your monies in, these fools go in there and do something stupid, and they can wipe out your account or take it down enough that you're not going to have enough to do what you want to do on. So these next years, these next months, really, please be paying attention to your finances and watching your accounts because it's the market's going to be affected by it. I guarantee you, when he gets inaugurated, you're going to see some kind of fluctuation in the market, good or bad. I'm not sure, but you're going to see something that's going to go up because just like when the Feds gave their quarterly speech, whatever they do every so often about raising rates or whatever, he came on and gave his talk, and soon as it was done, the market went down. So that means people selling off stuff. Market went down. Soon as he said whatever he said, the market went down, and now it's trying to rally back up. But again, it's all based on what is said by certain companies and who's buying what. So, what you got to add on that, Quentin?
I agree with you. I had a conversation with a coworker and we was talking about the market, and I mean he agreed. He said the same thing that it's not free. It's always manipulated. But these rich guys who own or want to own everything, they'll sell us and tell us we got to get government regulation out. It's hurting us in the industries. No, you just want to be able to do what you want to. And that's what's hurting small business people. It's not, immigrants taking your job. It's not raising the minimum wage. It's these big guys that want to buy up everything and have monopolies, just like Amazon and diapers. We went over that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yes, pay attention to your money, your finances, and everything coming up.
Because it's all going to play together, and I think um, what we try to inject on this podcast is to independent thinking when it comes to everything, whether it comes to voting, um, what's going on in your neighborhood, your local interest, your state interest, federal interest, whatever is going on that requires your input, you need to be an independent thinker. Don't join this party, that group, this group, because their agenda, I guarantee you, is not what your agenda or what's going to be best for you. So before you start latching on to some of these groups and parties and stuff like that, do your own research, do your own independent review, have your own independent values as you go into this. This way, when these groups start talking off the side of their neck, you'll know right there that no, that's not the direction I want to go. And you can gravitate or start your own movement in a direction that you feel will be better for the American people and not for the interest of the wealthy and so forth. Because right now, that's what's driving everything. The wealthy, the people that got all these corporations that have this absorbent amount of resources to go to. They're the ones driving a lot of this stuff that's going on. But like Quentin said, the independent uh, owner, small business owners, they don't have the funds to go up against these people. They can't go up to whoever and say, "Hey, I need your assistance" or whatever, because they don't have the money to back these people. That's what they want. They want the money. These corporations got the money. They can give billions of dollars to whatever party, and the trade-off is that they'll vote in their favor to keep their corporations protected, keep them from paying a lot of taxes so they can keep a lot of their revenue and keep other people from doing what they do. That's what they want to do. So I don't know. What's your take on that, Quinn?
I agree with you. Everything you said. That's exactly what they do. That's exactly how it happens.
So anyway, but oh, let me show you this. We was talking about what, and we're doing like a little review for the year. I came across this video. So now it's funny. So now they're coming up with this coalition for supposedly Trump said that when he takes office, he's going after these people. And so now they're wanting to come up with a some kind of coalition to help protect the people that's getting ready to get attacked by Trump. So it was interesting, but I'll let you listen to it, and then we can talk about it. Hold on.
Democracy on defense, with President-elect Trump already signaling that he will be using his second term as a revenge and retribution tour. A new initiative is coming together to offer legal, financial, public relations, and even mental health assistance to people who find themselves under attack and in his crosshairs. NBC News reporting that when he takes office again, Trump will preside over a vast law enforcement apparatus capable of leaving those who've crossed him bankrupt, imprisoned, or both. People involved in the effort to try to protect them said. Fending off such investigations can be financially ruinous, even if defendants escape punishment. A legal defense can quickly cross the six-figure mark. Joining me now is Mark Elias, the founder of Democracy Docket and a partner at Elias Law Group. Mark, it's always so good to see you. I just want you to underscore, because you are actively in the trenches, going to court, fighting these battles, so you understand what litigation looks like and feels like. Why is it so important, then, to have protective forces against the improper use and the weaponization of government and investigative power, especially when you look at this incoming administration?
Yeah, sometimes, Katie, I worry that people think litigation is what they see on TV. You know, it kind of begins, it goes to the middle, and it concludes in an hour. And unfortunately, that's not the case, right? These investigations can go on for months and months. They can stretch on to years. And when you have someone like Donald Trump and Kash Patel, who, are in control of the levers of those investigations, it can take not just a financial toll on people, but it can take a reputational toll. It can take a mental health toll. And, it is even if you set the legal fees aside, it is cold comfort to say to people, oh, well, at the end of it, since you did nothing wrong, you'll be okay. Well, the end of it may be months and months. They may have been dragged through the public arena. They may have, seen their jobs jeopardized. So it's really important that now, before he takes power, that we all stand up and say that this is not okay, that this is not something that we're going to normalize, and it is not something we are going to allow him to gain advantage in using.
So one of the last, I think, kind of last stands that are being taken in terms of the rule of law is happening in a courtroom in New York Monday. Donald Trump slamming New York Judge Juan Merchan after he rejected Trump's motion to dismiss the indictment and to set aside that jury's verdict. Trump claiming, of course, presidential immunity. But, of course, there's still this claim that remains by Donald Trump of juror misconduct. But putting that aside, Mark, with Trump's Georgia election interference case now on the ropes, is Judge Merchan America's last hope for justice?
You know, I'm not sure that we have a hope for justice. I mean, the fact is that Donald Trump managed to game the court system from start to finish here, was able to, through a variety of tactics involving delays and legal arguments and ultimately arguments to the U.S. Supreme Court in a decision that I think will not stand the test of time. You know, he has managed to escape the consequences of the January 6th activity and the events leading up to it. But you know, I think it is fair to say that the only criminal case that remains standing is the one in New York, and so in that sense, yeah, that is the one case that right now might hold him accountable.
So now we got this. What's your thoughts, sir?
I think that's kind of crazy. I do see him going on like a revenge kind of retribution kind of tour, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's pretty much been saying that the whole time that he's going to go after his political opponents, but that's not good. You know, that should worry people. You try to weaponize the White House and your presidential powers to your own benefit. You know, that's what tyrants do. That's what dictators do. That's what, you know, Hitler did. You know, so it's not good.
No. Well, I mean, you think about it. Look at, and you brought that up too. Look at his cabinet members that he's trying to get appointed. You know, it's sad. All of them got some kind of criminal issues going on, or some kind of investigation, or all of them just about. I mean, look at the guy that was supposed to be the attorney general.
Matt Gaetz. Was it Matt Gaetz?
Yeah, where they finally released the congressional investigation they did on him for past stuff, whatever, and came up with this stuff about, you know, having sex with underage girls and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, he was supposed to be the attorney general. When he took his name out the race, I kind of figured something, he was trying to keep something from coming out, but they already had investigated, so it was going to be made public anyway. But you know, it's like he went to the jailhouse, just started pulling people out of the prison. You know, hey, I need you to be the director of defense. I need you to be this. I need you to be the director of housing. I mean, he just pulled all these people out the woodwork. That, you know, it's going to be a job trying to get them passed. Now, the ones he can appoint that don't have to go through the what's the name. Well, I guess you can't do nothing about that. But the ones that got to actually go through the congressional process, I don't know how he's going to get those people in, to be honest.
No, they have severe character, questionable characters. Like, why would you even want to, you know, push people like that? And it goes into the other issue of folks. So folks who use this as, well, this is making hard decisions. No, it's not. This is hypocrisy right here. This is hypocrisy. This is corruption. This has nothing to do with making hard decisions.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. It's crazy. But again, like we said at the beginning, get ready, because this is going to start a whole new book on another chapter of the American people. You know, what do we have to look forward to now? What's next? Because it's gonna be some stuff. It ain't like we're gonna go into some kind of age of tranquility and all. It's getting ready to get crazy. It really is. And then you still got this next election coming up that deals with most of our Congress in the Senate. Their seats come up for vote. So it's that election probably gonna be nastier than this one was, because the Republicans definitely gonna want to control the House and the Senate. That's gonna be their goal. And so we'll see what happens. But on that note, so talking about criminals, so I know you brought up about that Luigi guy, Luigi, the Mario brother. Um, it's I'm have you heard? Because I'm still trying to figure out his his whole cause. I mean, because it's alleged he shot the guy. I mean, they got the evidence saying that, but it's still alleged that he shot him. He's pleading innocent. But I'm trying to figure out because from what they've shown so far, his background and who he is, and he's not a stupid man, and his background and where he comes from. I'm trying to figure out what would motivate him to even come up with a plot like this if he did it.
So uh, apparently he had back issues. He had like real severe back issues, and his friends confirmed it. They said that he was most of the time he was in a lot of pain. So he's probably, and this has been years. It's been a good portion of his life. He's probably been fighting with insurance companies, and um, there's been a lot of information being released lately. Like people are becoming more conscious of what's going on around them and politics and policies in the world and whatnot. Um, and United Healthcare is the number one insurance company that they deny the highest claims. So it's definitely politically and personally motivated. At least I feel.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, because I know people that had chronic pain, like you can't do nothing with it. It's just something they got to live with. That pain, it becomes so unbearable at times that this is have have taken people to being a drug addict, getting hooked on pain medicine, things of that nature, because to have to deal with chronic pain every day, you want some kind of relief, will drive you to do certain things. Um, and I guess I could see driving somebody to the point of wanting to shoot somebody, because if you're fighting this and you're filing claims and you got all your documentations and you got all your evidence that should be submissible to get your claim passed, and you keep getting rejected. Yeah, after a while, some people, depend on their mindset, may go to that point that I need to take somebody out because I need this taken care of. Because, and matter of fact, going back to when we was talking about how they're going to go through the different government programs, whatever, workers' comp. I'm pretty sure if we had the capabilities of taking phone calls, we could take a bunch of phone calls right now for workers' comp. Workers' comp is probably one of the most stupidest uh, processes I have ever seen. Um, and just being where we're at now and seeing the people that have gotten injured on the job and what they have to go through, just to even get workers' comp to even cover something, it's crazy. It's the most it's the most bogged down, bureaucratic mess that have ever
Yeah.
been set up for government. And if you look at it, it always makes you think that they got it that way just to deter you from even going through the process. Or while you're in the process, you get so frustrated that you just give up, which some people have. Some people have gotten to a point they're just like, screw it. I'll just file on my insurance and go from there. That if any other government program or process needs to be revamped, and that's OWCP, workers' comp. That's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen people have to go through. To file for an on the job documented injury. We ain't talking about somebody that went out last night, tripped and fell, and then came back to work next day and tried to fake it and then try to make a claim. We talking about people that were legitly on a job, an accident happened, they got hurt, and there was no doubt, there's no ifs, ands, or but. This person got hurt on the job, and they have to go through heaven and high water to get their claim. And even after that, they still sometimes have to go back and reappeal and reapply to cover some stuff that might have got missed in the process. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree. I feel like um, people, no human being should have to live like that. Um, we can afford to give people, somebody did a study and they said that it was actually cheaper to give free healthcare than it is to privatize it and pay because insurance companies, they're just the middleman between us and the doctors, and they get most of the money anyway. So healthcare is one of the things I think should be free, that shouldn't be privatized. Things that we need to survive, they shouldn't be for profit.
No, I think that's why I hope people that listen to this, I hope they start having conversations with their friends and their family. Because one way to combat it, and we talked about it, that's the co-op.
Hmm.
That is to buy into your own health plan. And the ones that are doing it, from what I've read or have heard, they've been successful. In fact, I can't think of the one now. It was it was religious based. I forget what it is, but that's what they did. They pooled their money and they pooled it into to this like a health plan, and then like as you need, you apply and they cover your expenses. But in the meantime, they got the money that they pooled and they're investing it and putting in, where it's growing to where you have this money to help. What I've heard that program has been very successful. And I've heard other co-op plans that people have done have been successful. And so maybe that's the route we need to go. Maybe we need to just stop dealing with insurance companies and, you know, form a co-op, get your directors and get your head of director and how you want to do it and have a meeting and this is what we're going to do and what options do we want to vote on and vote into. We'll put our money ins and what's going to be covered and just go through the whole 9 yards. And I guarantee you, with that kind of input and that kind of following, you're going to make a better plan than anything that's out there now because they don't want to cover nothing. Think about it. Just about just about a lot of surgeries that back in the day you used to have to go into the hospital and do, like knee surgery, is now outpatient surgery. I've never heard of that. Knee surgery, they normally take you to rehab right after that because they want you to get up, walk around. I know when my father had it, he had to go to a rehab center for about, I don't know, I think he was in there about a month while he get to the point where he can walk, and then he had to follow up with therapy, after that. But he had the surgery; they didn't send him home. Now you go in at 6 o'clock in the morning. By 6 o'clock that evening, you're going home.
Yeah.
And so, you know, unless you're showing some kind of adverse effect from the anesthesia, or you might be a candidate for blood clots or something like that, to where they might have to keep you overnight, you're going home. You're going home. Shoulder surgery is outpatient now. They're gonna bring you in that morning, and by that evening, you're going home. Just about everything that used to be at least a day, maybe 2 days in the hospital, depending on what you, because they want to make sure you don't have no blood clots and make sure everything. Now it's outpatient. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you just a number. You just a dollar bill sign. You just profit. And so now with the outpatient centers popping up all over the place now, because they're everywhere now, that you go in and get these outpatient surgeries. Now it's how many can I mill through here in a day? Because these surgeries ain't cheap. So if I can pound out 100 a day or more, you know, they're looking at the profit from that. They're not worrying about your care and your concern and how you're going to feel. They're going to do the surgery, send in your prescriptions, dope you up enough to get you home, and then you're on your own unless you have some kind of complication. And I think that's crazy.
I do too. It's um, our culture and American society is very toxic. It's very unhealthy. Um, you know, there is no community among people. There's just like it's rugged individualism, even though that's not how we've always been. But for some people, that's how they see that just works. Well, it doesn't work, and that's why we have so many problems.
Yeah, because I mean, take the homeless situation, man. We just went out last Saturday. Was it this past? Yeah, the Saturday before Christmas. Um, Trying to pass out some hats, gloves, socks, stuff for these guys, blankets to combat the cold weather because the shelters are packed to capacity. So a lot of these shelters or the men's shelter, women's shelter, they're already packed to capacity. So a lot of people get left out, and it was just sad to see all these people that um they're living out here all day long with it's my thing is, you know, we spend all this money on BS. City likes to spend money on improvement projects and things of that nature. And I can understand want to make things better, whatever, but you do all this beautification stuff, and yet the infrastructure of your city you let fall apart. And I say the homeless people is the infrastructure of your city. Now, some of these people, of course, they have mental issues. Some of these people, they do choose to be out there. I don't argue that point. My point is though, is to get them off the street and find out what their needs are. Because you also have a large part of the homeless that are working. You have a lot of working homeless people because of the outrageous housing rates for a one-bedroom apartment, $1,500. Really? Who's supposed to afford that? You have to have about 5 families in an apartment to afford that, based on what the wages are that they're paying people. These are the things that need to be addressed, but they don't address that. They just want to say it's for whatever, whatever. But my thing is, if y'all gonna spend money on anything, how about taking one of these old schools y'all done abandoned, since y'all building schools left and right? Take one of these old schools and go in there and retrofit it and make those classrooms rooms and stuff, and let's get these people off the streets. We had a podcast on this. We was talking about the projects that supposedly was started. The idea started here, but the Europeans took it and actually made it work. And now there is a place over here, a couple of cities that are implementing trying to. But the first thing to do is to get these people off the street. Get them off the street so they're not in danger to themselves or others, and then work with them individually to find out what their needs are. Because the ones that are that might have some mental things going on, they may just need some medication or some doctor care or whatever to get them back right. Then the ones that choose to want to be out there, we need to find out to motivate them to get them back in the game. They need to get back in the game. We need to get back into society because I don't think nobody wants to be homeless. I hate to think that somebody just wants to be homeless. If that's the case, we need to move them to the mountains where they can live out there with Smokey the Bear and build them a cabin and they can just live out there. Because there are people that do that now. There are people that don't want to be in the rat race in the system that have gone out in the wilderness and I guess bought them a plot of land, whatever. But however they did it, but have built them a log cabin and they live off the woods. They live off the land, and that's what they do, and that's fine. But if that's what they want to do, let's help them on that path and not let them wander the streets every day, all day with nothing to do. And then for the ones that are working and the ones that are trying to make it but just can't because of the high prices that have been driven up, you know, we need to work with them as well. So I don't know. What's your take on that, McQueen?
Um, they converted a few of the extended stays here in Durham and Raleigh to apartments, to like affordable apartments.
Oh, really? Okay. Good,
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, my sister friend lives in one in Raleigh. I didn't know that they did it. They were doing it in Raleigh as well, but I saw on our local news or magazine. I saw that they were turning a few of them here. So they're affordable and they're not the cost of like an average apartment. But that's good. That's a step. And like you said, a lot of the homeless people, they do have mental issues.
Hmm.
So just like they did, what was that we watched? Was it was it Denmark or Sweden where
I think it
they
was
did it
Sweden.
just like they did. They took the people that had issues. That one guy they interviewed that was on drugs, he said that he had been on drugs because he had lost his best friend and it was hard on him.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
so
that.
they got him a place. He got better. You know, he wasn't fully off his drugs yet, but he got to where he could function a little bit better.
Hmm.
So I feel like you said, we try to help people out because I mean, it's the right thing to do, but it also keeps society going.
Yeah.
And like they said, the mayor of that city, he said it's actually cheaper for us to house them than it is to just let them lay around on the streets. Because then there's trash, and you got to pay people to pick the trash up, and maybe they're stealing and they're looting stores. So,
But yeah, I mean, it's just better all the way around. And I mean, for some people that have a heart, I mean, it's just sad that you walk down the street, these people just laid up in the gutter or laid up in the corner of a building, or they got their tent sitting out, and you got to walk by them day in and day out, and it hurts your heart. Like, and you try to give them a few dollars, and you try to do what you can, but to see this every day on an ongoing basis for the people that have a heart, it hurts them to see this. And it's like, this is, and the killer is, what is the thing they always keep talking about? America is great.
mhm.
America is the place to be. America is number one in this. America is number one in that. America, America, America. But yet, we got the most issues than any other country going. Everybody always keep claiming about America this, America that. But when you look at all these other um, societies and other countries and Europeans and all this other stuff, they don't have half the issues that we got going on because we have greed and no empathy in America. We're greedy and we don't care about nobody in a general sense, um, because the decisions that are made is based off of that. Think about it, and we've talked about this before in previous podcasts. Um, the the workforce of America, going back in history, all they've done is increase more hours, more days. Used to work 4 days a week. Then went to 5 days a week. We went from working 30 hours to 40 hours. And it just keeps increasing and increasing. You go to some of these other countries that have realized that that is not the way to go, and to make an employee more productive and more productive employee is to give him some sense of community and some sense of home time. And so you have European models where they only work 4 days a week. They don't work no more than 30 hours. They take mandatory vacations. I can't remember if it was Denmark. You might know, Quinn, because you up on all this. It's a country. It's one of them countries over there. They they shut down for they like shut down for 3 weeks. Everybody, dog, the whole industry shuts down. And everybody takes a vacation at the same time, um, and then they come back to work. I mean, makes sense to me. I don't know. I don't know.
It's probably one of the Scandinavian countries. Um, I mean, not only does it make sense, like the data for everything else is there. Like they're more productive, the people are happier, the economy does better, the country does better, crime is down, people are healthier. So not even that they're not, I mean, they do have a heart, but they're not even just doing it because they care about their citizens. They're doing it because it makes the most sense to do it. It's the most cost effective.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't, and the excuses they give us here to not do it, that's just what they are. They're excuses. We have more money than these other countries. These aren't exceptionally wealthy countries. They're
Right.
small countries. We have the money to do it, but we don't. We fund other things.
But then, like I said, that's what drives this country, greed. And
Yeah.
so, because I'm the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar company and I'm living off the back of this company, I want my money to continue to come in. So my decisions are never going to be based off what's going to be the betterment of the employees. It's going to be what's the betterment of my bottom line. And that's whether I cut jobs, add more hours, make you work overtime, cut your health benefits, whatever I need to do, that's what I'm going to do. That's going to better help my bottom line and keep me in my six figure salary, and help keep funding my corporate jet and all this other stuff. That's where my decisions come from here in America. Never is going to be, well, man, these employees, they really bust their butt. How can we make it more better for them? Because if my employees are happy, they'll want to come to work. I ain't got to worry about them laying out of work. They want to come to work, be productive when they're at work, and let them feel like they're part of the process. Make them feel like they're part of the system, that their efforts is what makes us have what we have, and not just make them feel like a bunch of Hebrew slaves. It's what most companies make their people feel like they just Hebrew slaves. You're a dime a dozen. I expect you to come to work. This is what I expect you to do. I don't expect you to lay out of work. And if you lay out of work, I'll cut you and I'll just put somebody else in your spot. Not realizing how much it costs to train people. Every time you have to hire somebody, it's a cost to do that, but they don't care. They figure you just a dime a dozen. You don't want to cooperate. You don't want to conform to whatever I got going on. Fine. That's like North Carolina is a right to work state. They don't have to tell you anything. You can go to work tomorrow, and they can say you are no longer needed, and you don't have no recourse or nothing. You got to go. They can tell you tomorrow when you walk through the door, oh, we're done with you. But then that just shows how much they appreciated you while you was there, that they would do that. But anyway, that's neither here or there. But our system needs to be revamped. And the only way that's going to happen is that you, America, and individuals like you that have the same mindset and the same thoughts and the same things, get out there and start organizing. Start organizing and start having conversations and start gravitating toward the things that make sense and not the stuff that is nonsense. You hear what I'm saying? Gravitate to the stuff that makes sense and stay away from the nonsense, because the nonsense that has gotten us to where we are now, it makes no sense. Just like Quentin said, when you make a decision, your decision should be based, one, on the compassion of what I decide to do is how is it going to affect the next person? How's it going to affect them? When I make a decision about a healthcare issue, how is that going to affect the people that are paying their insurance premiums every month? And in some cases, it's outrageous. What some people have to pay for healthcare, it's like for self, it's not that bad. But when they add their family, it goes into like the hundreds of dollars. It's crazy. But they have to have it because they can't afford, if their kid gets sick, to take them to the hospital and pay just to get to the hospital, pay $500-600 just to go in the hospital, and then by the time they add whatever medicine they gave him and the time that you've been there, you're talking about a $5,000-10,000 bill or more in some cases. People can't afford that, so they rely on healthcare to make the difference. But what they pay in premiums is crazy. But I don't know. What's your thoughts there, Quick?
So, I listened to this short TED talk about a week or two ago, and I meant to send it to you, but I didn't, and I couldn't remember if I sent it to you before, because the talk was with the guy from the Pitchfork's economics podcast, Nick Hanauer.
Okay.
Self-avowed venture capitalist, and he said a line in there that stuck out to me, and he said, "Being rapacious doesn't make you a capitalist; it makes you a sociopath." He's one of few capitalists who does like champion working class people, because he understands that that's what makes his company. Like without workers, he wouldn't even be a capitalist. So and it's the right thing to do. And he's just somebody who has a conscience.
Well, I think people, if they sit back and look at it, everybody talks about high prices. You know why prices are high? Because the corporations run the prices up. Everybody runs the prices up. That's why they keep saying inflation. Ain't no inflation, because if companies keep their prices at average for whatever it is, and then you have the company has to buy this with supplies and stuff, and everybody just keeps their stuff at average, there will be no reason for prices to go up. Then the prices go up because why? Especially like healthcare. Why the healthcare providers raise their prices, which puts a cost on the company, and then they pass the cost off to the employee. and then that goes up, and they'll say, well, healthcare is going up, so we have to raise our prices. And when you raise our prices, this goes up, and then this goes up, and then they talk about inflation. It's because it's all self-generated. If everything just stayed the same, then why would anything cost any more than what it is? If you added another 100 employees, what would go up but your production? You'll make more money. That's what would go up. Even if you add 100 people and you added another 100 people's salary to your bottom line, but those 100 people are going to be productive, which are going to make you more money. So basically, they'll be paying for themselves. And so long as everything stayed even or on an even keel as far as prices is concerned, there would be no reason to raise prices, because if you added 100, like I said, if you add 100 more employees to your company, those 100 employees, and they're productive employees, they're going to pay for themselves anyway. And so they're making you more money in order to afford having them on and whatever else you have to do. But y'all use that as an excuse that, well, we have more employees, so we have to raise our prices to cover their salaries. No, you don't. You cover their salaries is what they make in production. I guarantee you probably able to cover their salaries. But again, everything that we've done is artificially stimulated. It's all man-made. When we raise prices and we do this, it's all because of what man has done in order to be greedy and profitable. It ain't about the need, what is supply and demand and all this other stuff. Because if you're cracking out widgets and the demand for widgets go up, all you got to do one or two things: either you're going to start working more hours, or you're going to add more employees. But you're going to crank out more widgets if the demand is there. But no, you say the demand is there, so you're going to raise the price to try to slow it down. Why? If they're going out the door, just make more widgets. I just don't understand the process. They say, well, the supply and demand is what's going to dictate the cost average of what a product should cost. So if it's in demand, you're going to raise the price or lower the price. You're going to, it don't make no sense to me. I think it's all artificially man-made, and it's just a reason for y'all to be more greedy, because the the rare access to stuff, the higher the price. Like if you can't get a hold of, like, if there's only 10 widgets in the world, those will be the most expensive widgets you ever have to buy, because there's only 10 in the world, rather than if you had a whole bunch of them and you can still sell them at whatever price. So that's my economics. Might not be what the economics they want to use, but that's my economics, and I think that'll work a whole lot better. What about you? What's your economics, Quentin?
I agree with you. Um, I agree. You do, you do. So the market is supposed to be set up to fix to fix human needs. But like you said, originally, if that's what it was made for, people went in, somebody got greedy, and they manipulated to where now it's just like consumerism. Um, Now they're making stuff just to sell you. We don't even need most of the stuff they make. It's just somebody wants to make some money.
Mhm.
So now it's a game of manipulation.
So, all right. So here we are. We're going into 2025. And so from what I've understand and from what I've been reading, the last week of the year is usually a good week for stocks and bonds and all this other stuff that goes through. So we're going to see if that holds true. But you know, we keep talking, we keep talking, we keep talking. But people, we have to act. We have to act. We have to get involved. We just can't sit back and just complain. Um, we got to get involved, and we got to do what we can at whatever level we can. That's why we started this podcast. We was hoping that the conversation that we have will get out. People will hear it. They'll be responsive to it. And whether it's good or bad, if they're responsive to it, it generates conversation. And so maybe that conversation will spark something that will be beneficial for the people. Because right now, what we're doing is not beneficial for the people. I mean, every time you turn around, it's some kind of crisis that, if we don't go this route, the people are going to suffer. If we don't go this route, the people are going to suffer. If Congress don't vote this in, the people are going to suffer. Really? We've been suffering. I don't know where y'all been. We've been suffering. Been suffering for a long time. Ain't nothing has been, uh, I guess, good in a sense. We've had moments in sessions and seasons where things were good overall, but I mean, still, even in those seasons where things were good, people were still suffering. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
y'all realize, man, when you talk about the United States of America, you talk about a lot of territory. You talk about a lot of stuff that never makes the news, a lot of stuff that you'll never hear about. And there's a whole lot of families out there suffering right now. There's a whole lot of people out there suffering right now that you'll never hear about. There's people being murdered every day that you'll never hear about, all because of our need for greed. That's all. Our need for greed. We're not sympathetic to the needs of others. And until that starts flowing through people, we're going to always have this up and down economy because it's all based off emotions. And you get people fired up on their emotions, and then it drives this group and it drives that group and it drives this market up, it drives the market down. It's all based off emotions. In other words, we're just quick to react. Stop being sheep, be independent, and let's move forward to really truly making America great. So we can really make that hashtag make America great, make America great.
Yeah.
Hey, you was talking about the AOC, so we can wrap this up. I want to show you this short clip because you had mentioned it, and I guess we can go on a conversation after that, America. And then we're gonna sign out, and then we're gonna be done for 2024, and we're gonna move into 2025. But anyway, I found something you was talking about, so let's hear what they got to say.
While that panel wields strong influence over the party, the results are not final until full caucus votes today.
So, Congressman, let me ask you about that. AOC, obviously, she energizes younger voters. They really do. And even across party lines are energized by her. I know the establishment, the Democratic Party, not going to be as excited. Some of her views will be left of center of where probably the mainstream Democratic caucuses. But how does she get involved in a meaningful way? She lost the race yesterday. That certainly would have done it. But what's a good pathway forward? Because, again, the challenge for Democrats, stop firing at each other, right? And instead figure out how to get the progressive wing, which I've said time and again, they were in many ways pretty patient during the Biden administration, going along with some bills they didn't agree with. And the more conservative to moderate wing, how do they get together, move forward with a common goal of winning elections?
I think Hakeem Jeffries is going to, the leader of the Democratic Party in the House, is going to have to figure out how to position someone like her, because you run into the inertia of Congress. On the Republican side, you have 6-year term limits for committee chairs. On the Democratic side, you do not. So people can get into the leadership position, and really there's no movement. And I think that was a lot of frustration for guys like me and others who are trying to climb the ladder or get into positions. It just takes so much time. But she's such a powerful voice, I think, for the party. And I think you see how she handled the Trump Bernie voter phenomenon.
Exactly.
About how to really talk to. I think she's trying to educate Democrats on how do you talk to people about these working class economic issues in order to bring them into the fold, whether you're in agreement on the solution of redistribution or grow the pie, democratic socialism, or a reformed capitalism. That's the argument you should have. But she's clearly very talented in understanding how to connect the working class people. So she needs a place in the party to talk about those kind of things.
So, what's your views, brother?
I feel like these, they have these conversations that they make sound so complicated, and it's not complicated. All you got to do is listen to people and meet their needs. That's it. It don't matter if you call it capitalism, socialism, democratic socialism. Just meet the people's needs. Just help people. That's it. Now, Europe, they are social democracies. I mean, they're capitalists, but they have strong social safety nets, and obviously they work. But the Democratic Party likes to blame the Republicans as it's being uh, a hindrance in the progress, but it's really the Democrats. They won't get out their own way. They push Bernie out the way. Now they're trying to push AOC out the way. Um, these are the people who actually want to take care of working class people. And so when you have that, and that's all you see in the news, and even the media vilifies them. Trump looks like the hero,
Yeah.
but Kamala Harris, when she was campaigning, she wouldn't be seen with Bernie Sanders on stage. But then she went around campaigning with what's her name?
Oprah and all them.
Was it Bush? I think it was one of the Bushes. Like they're so adamant about getting Trump voters, but if they listened to working class people and met their needs, they wouldn't have to fight for them.
Right.
Because those are people who and a few of them voted for Bernie in the midterms. They even voted for Obama. But when the Democratic Party let them down, they went to Trump because now he looks like the hero. I feel like all this is common sense.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it makes you laugh because it doesn't really it if you look at it logically, if you look at it like Spock from Star Trek, just be logical. Be logical. Just take all the emotions out of it. Just think logical, and you have to laugh because you're right. It it's not a hard process. It's not. It's not a hard process. The Democrats were not listening. You're right. They weren't listening, and then they got they butt spanked. That's exactly what happened. They were so busy trying to, I don't know what they were trying to do because they spent more time trying to get celebrity artists and all this other people to speak on their behalf, and then you got Oprah to do that town hall that she did. I mean, you got all these people thinking that this that there'll be stargaze that this would get you over the hump. And not one time did you ever listen to the people and what their actual cause and needs were. That when you even interviewed, you never really gave a solid plan to your agenda, or whatever, because you always went off into this. The people are optimistic. Really, they are. Okay. I mean, that's how she would go. They would ask her a question, and then she would go off on about, well, the people are optimistic. We're really, really going to strive to blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that didn't answer my question, Kamala. I asked you a direct question. I just need you to answer. And so you think the people are stupid, I guess. I don't know.
That's how I would feel. It's a slap in the face. I'm somebody who, like, I never believed in politics. Um, I mean, when I was eligible to vote, I didn't vote because I just didn't believe it made a difference. Now that it didn't, this is me growing up as a kid, young. All it took was for me to pay attention. Like I loved history class,
Right.
and you could see how the country was formed, and then we got these people, these slaves, and we got these Native Americans. Yet y'all telling me that this is a great country. This is a conflict in my mind. I don't understand. I'm being lied to. I understood I was being lied to. So it's the same thing today. Like people can see that they're being lied to, and that's why she didn't win. Don't get me wrong, Trump's lying to him too, but I don't know. Maybe he's a better liar. I don't know.
I don't know either, brother. Again, it's going to be interesting, and people, y'all going to have to not let your emotions take you over. Y'all going to have to really pay attention to what's going on these next 4 years, especially the first 3 to 6 months. Y'all really need to pay attention to what he puts in place, what they're voting on, and what he's spitting out. Don't get caught up in all the, you know, he's this, he's a criminal, he's a felon. We're past all that now. I don't care what he is. He's a felon. He's going to always be a felon. I don't care if he don't go to jail or not. Y'all be better to pay attention to what he's doing. Everybody goes off on this. How can a felon? Who cares? We're past that now. If he was going to jail, he would have went to jail by now. So obviously he's not going to jail. That's not the direction that he's going or they want to go, because they've had enough on him and they've had enough time that if they were going to put him in jail or strip him of any chance of running, they had plenty enough time to do that by now that it would have happened. So apparently it's not going to happen. He's going back into the office. And so don't get caught up in all that. He's a felon, he's this, he's that. That has nothing to do with nothing. Y'all need to be paying attention to what he's putting in place, what policies he's putting in place, what is he trying to get voted on, what executive orders is he's pushing out, because he has that power to put out a lot of executive orders that do not have to get voted on, that he can put in place. These are the things you need to put in these next 3 to 6 months. Y'all be paying attention, because that's what's going to set the tone for the rest of these 4 years that he's in office, whether it's going to be good, bad, or indifferent. But if y'all run around chasing all this crap that they put out there about him, y'all going to miss the boat, and then y'all going to be floating out there in the middle of the ocean with no life preserver, wondering what happened. Just saying. Final thoughts, my brother?
My final thoughts would be, don't follow the hype. As what we've been saying, and why we created this podcast. Like, don't get caught up in the news media, vilify this man. We don't need them to vilify him. We've seen his character on display. Don't get caught up in that. Don't try to let them sell you that the Democrats are the heroes, because they have a losing strategy. Do your own research. Think for yourself. Think outside of the box. Think outside what they teach you. Think in terms of, what do you need? What do you need? What do you and your family need?
Exactly.
So that's all I got.
So you heard it, America. It's been an interesting year. We're getting going to another season of 4 years with another president, and get ready for the ride, like I tell you. But we want to say that we appreciate everyone's support of this podcast over the years. And going into 2025, we look forward to hopefully bringing you more content and more clarity on different issues. I know a few things that I had on my mind, and Quentin, I'm sure he had some things he was like. I know one thing I'd like to do in 2025 is a Zoom town hall. I would like to put a town hall together where we can bring people together and just depending on, and I'm looking at doing it maybe 3 months out. Like I said, the next 3 to 6 months, so about 3 months out, have a little town hall, see how you feel about the president, the current president, how he's doing. Do you feel he's addressing issues, and just see how the general consensus is with the public when it comes to President Trump being in office. So that's something down the road that we're looking to put together. And also at some point, depending on how our schedules work, I would love for us to do a live event. Have people chime in and they can put their thoughts in, whatever case might be. So those are two things. And then hopefully we'll also be up on whatever the current issues are and give our viewpoint. And then my brother Quentin is always on the forefront on new things going out and things that are being implemented that nobody else is talking about, but the information is out there. He finds it and he's up on it. And so I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff that he comes across that we can bring to the table and present to you as alternatives, as of other options that we may have. Because right now, you don't hear about no other options on how to fix things or how we can go about doing something in a different direction. It's always the same rinse and repeat. They just keep rinsing and repeating the same stuff over and over again. And as you can see, it gets us nowhere. It made things worse, really. So as he finds different stuff, we're going to put it out there. And hopefully y'all receive it. It'll be out there. It'll be recorded. It'll be out there and it'll be archived. So there'll be people that can go back and check it out, because there are different ways to do things. There are so many other ways we can approach stuff. other than the same rinse and repeat that we've been doing. That would make things better for all. Will we ever have it perfect? Probably not. But we can make it a lot better than what it is. A way lot better than what it is for the American people. Because a lot of people, they just want to work, raise a family, and enjoy life. They ain't trying to chase the corporate market. Everybody's not trying to be a millionaire. Some people just want the house with the picket fence and the 2.5 kids. That's all they want. That's all they ever care about. They want to be able to raise their family, enjoy their time with their family. That's what they want to do. They don't care about chasing a dollar. They don't care about none of this other stuff that a lot of people do that they make it seem like that's what everybody's doing. And so those people should be allowed to do that. They should not have to work, 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. They should be able to work one job. And if the wife decides to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom, she should be able to make that decision and stay at home and not have to worry about, do I feed my kids or do I do this or do that? None of that should even be in the equation. She should be able to make, when they come together and they say, well, you want to stay home? Yeah, I want to stay home, raise the kid, whatever. They should be able to make that decision as a family. And they should not have to go through any life-altering changes in order to make that work. He should be able to still go to work, take care of the family, feed his family, provide a nice home for his family. It ain't got to be no Joe Osteen mansion up there on the top of Texas Hill. Just, he should be able to maintain a comfortable home and live comfortable and enjoy his family. A lot of people, that's all they want to do. They don't want all that other fanfare. But the ones that do want it, they should have the opportunity to pursue that. That's fine. But the ones that don't, that's how it is. So,
Absolutely.
So anyway, Quentin, it's been a pleasure, sir. I've really enjoyed you this year, and I look forward to 2025, the new subject matter, and maybe some new projects we can come up with moving forward to expand our platform here. But I really appreciate you, brother, and I'm glad that we had that initial conversation to even put this together to make it work. So like I said, I appreciate you, brother, and blessings to you into the 2025.
Thank you. Blessings to you too, and I appreciate you as well.
All right, my brother. Well, America, that's it. We're done, and we are moving out of 2024 to 2025. So be on the lookout. We're going to have some new topics, some new things, and we're going to try to do some more innovative things and whatnot. But again, if you go to the description, our email is there. I still check my email. Ain't nobody sending me nothing. So evidently, y'all must be happy with what we're talking about. But anyway, you can send us an email. We'll be glad to discuss it on the podcast. If not, you can go to our YouTube page, and we have a community tab that you can leave comments on. You can leave comments there. We check that as well, and we'll find your comments there. So either or, but we appreciate your support either way. Join our YouTube family, like and subscribe, build that family up. Share this podcast. We appreciate it. That'll help build it up and move it up through the algorithm. But whatever you do, just continue to remember your opinion counts, your values count, and it's not all about the mess. You have a thought, you have a say, and the only way that can get done is that if you make that known to the people. And so how you do that, you have to organize, you have to get involved. You can't sit back and sit in your living room and cry about whatever. You got to get out here and you got to make some moves and not follow the crowd. In other words, like I said, you're independent, stay independent, and stay out of the mess. So anyway, all right, America, we're out of here. Again, this is the Truth to Freedom podcast. Again, this is James Parker along with my partner, Mr. Quentin Williams. And as always, until the next time, God bless.